Hello and Assalamualaikum. My name is Nur Asma binti Othman and I'm going to talk about personality. Personality refers to individual differences in thinking, feeling, and behaving. Personality embraces moods, attitude, opinion, and express it in interaction with the other people. Personality can be determined by three factors, which is heredity, environment, and also situation. The first one is heredity determinants. It is the passing on of physical or mental characteristic genetically to another. It is partly inherited from parents. Secondly is environment. It is caused by habitat or experiences of individual human being. It is also caused by interaction with the surrounding. For example, childhood experience, parenting, friends, school, and also culture. The last one is by situation. So personality can be determined by situation because it is influenced by the situation. So our personality will be changed according to the situation. For example, openness to experience, being sociable, sympathetic, talkative, and also energetic. Next is personality traits. There are 5 personality traits which is we can see. The first one is neuroticism, openness to experience, extraversion, agreeableness, and lastly, conscientiousness. Okay, so for people with conscientious traits, they will follow the rules and maintain the high standard of their performance. They are also known as the most dependable employees. They are also a higher productivity person. They tend to do well in various jobs. However, people with neuroticism traits, they will be experience more problem at work, so the job satisfaction will be low. They also have wild mood swings. Their mood will change easily. The career success will be lower, and they also will be tend to create an unfair climate at work. So they will be problematic sometimes. So the third one is openness to experience. People with these traits will be do well in training system. So because they will be quick to adjust with their new job. They also highly adaptable to change, but they also prone to become more easily to bored. Um, However, they are impatient with their routines. So people with these traits will be inability to meet their goal, but they have extreme ideas, and have a peculiar way of thinking. Next is extraversion traits. People with this trait will be effective manager and also a good leaders. They also quick to adjust to their new job. They also have higher level of career success. Next, they also will be more satisfied with their job. People with this kind of traits will is an action-oriented person. Lastly, is agreeableness trait person. People with this kind of trait will be harboring positive thought about the people and also situation. Agreeableness trait person is an excellent team players, but they are a poor leader.
So, the next is 7 major personality attribute influencing organization behavior. Firstly is locus of control, mechanism, self-esteem, self-monitoring, uh, risk-taking, type A, type B personality, and the last one is narcissism. Firstly, locus of control is the center of the control of an individual's code of conduct. They have 2 types, which is internal and external. Internal is individuals who believe that they control that happens to them. External is individual who believe that what happens to them is controlled by outside force, such as luck or chance. Second is mechanism, is degree to which an individual's being practical, emotionally distant, and believe that ends justify means. Okay, the third is self-esteem. Individuals of degree of liking or dislike themselves. High self-esteem is more satisfied with their job, thinking they have what it mistakes, to succeed and take more challenges. And the low self-esteem is more susceptible to external distraction, more like to seek approval of others and to adapt the belief. The fourth is self-monitoring is the capability of regulating one's behavior according to social situation. Self-monitoring is easily adjust their behavior according to external factor, allow them to present public persona which are completely different from their private personalities. And the low self-monitoring cannot cover themselves. What you see is you get. That is risk-taking. Risk-taking is willing to take risky action in the hope of desired result. A risk-taking manager is make a quicker decision, but low-taking manager is slower to make decision. Last but not least is the narcissism, is the person who has a grandiose sense of self-importance, require excessive admiration, has a sense of entitlement and arrogance.
Achieving personality, job fit. There are 6 types of personality. For the first one is realistic. Realistic persons prefers physical activities such as skill, strength, and coordinations. This type of persons prefers work to mechanic, farmer, drill press operator, and assembly line worker. For the second one is investigative. Investigative persons prefers to do thinking, organizing, and understandings. This type of persons suitable with work such as biologists, economists, mathematicians, and news reporter. For the third one is social. Person prefers activities such as helping and developing others. This type of persons prefers to work to social worker, teacher, counselor, and clinical psychologist. For the fourth one is conventional. Conventional persons prefers to do rule regulate, orderly, and unambiguous activities. This type of persons prefers to work to accountant, corporate manager, bank teller, and file clerk.
Value is the collective conception of what is considered as good, desirable, and proper, or bad, undesirable, and improper in a culture. So basically, value relates with attitude, behavior, and personality. The first one is influence attitude. It means that in everything we do, we always get perception from other people's. It's either good or bad perception. So good perception always comes with good personality. For example, as an employee, we always have to do everything that have been asked by a manager. So by doing that, we will obtain good perception from our manager. The second one is represent interpretations. By learning value, we know that what is right and know what is wrong. So always do the right things and don't do the wrong things. The third one is employees' motivation. Imagine if you have a good relationship with manager and workers, it will definitely increase in employees' motivation in doing their work. And at the same time, it will increase efficiency in working. In fact, they will achieve their goals and targets because good organization can lead to success.
Types of values. There are 2 types of values. For the first one is terminal values. Terminal values is goals that a person would like to achieve during his or her lifetime. For the second one is instrumental values. Instrumental values is preferable ways of behaving. There are 6 examples of terminal values. First, happiness. Second, self-respect. Third, freedom. Fourth, recognition. Fifth, true friendship. Sixth, comfortable life. Example instrumental values. There are 4 examples of instrumental values. For the first one is sincerity. Second, independent. Fourth, honesty. Fifth, responsible.
Now let's move on to Hofstede's framework for assessing culture. which he has found that managers and employees vary on 5 value dimensions of national culture. So the first one is power distance. Power distance is the large gap communication between subordinates and superior. Power distance, it means that relatively equal distribution. For instance, boss giving orders to their subordinates equally. For high distance, means the boss excessively has power to their subordinates. So the next one is achievement masculinity and nurturing femininity. Achievement masculinity is the person who always love to compete and they have materialism and assertiveness to achieve what they want. For nurturing and femininity is they concern for other people's and they care for other people's relationship towards others. The next one is uncertainty avoidance. For high uncertainty avoidance is feels threatened by uncertainty. It means, for example, someone who has difficult to adapt with new environment, or someone who has afraid to do any changes in new environment. For low uncertainty avoidance, it means that you can adapt or adjust to uncertain situation. Last one is individualism and collectivism. Individualism is a person who prefers to work as individual compared to groups. Last one is individualism and collectivism. Individualism is a person who prefers to work as individual compared to groups. As for collectivism, is they prefer to be in group rather than individuals, and they have to protect them and take care of each other as a team.
Come in.
Hello, Mr. Hafiz.
Hello, sit down.
Thank you.
How's the proposal that we discussed last week?
Oh yeah, I'm done, Mr. Hafiz. But I can't find the policy that you want.
Oh yeah, I see. It's okay, I'll give you another 3 days. Make sure you can find it.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Hafiz.
You're welcome. We got.
Perception is a process when individuals organize and interpret their sensory impression in order to give meaning to their environment. And then is factor influencing perception. They have 3 characteristics. The first one is characteristic of the perceiver. They have attitudes. The perceiver attitudes affect perception. For example, suppose Mr. X is interviewing candidates for a very important position in his organization, a position that requires to negotiation contacts with suppliers most often are met. Mr. X may feel that women are not capable of holding their own in top negotiation. After that is motive unsatisfied needs or motive stimulate individuals and may exert a strong influence on their perception. After that is characteristic in the target. They have 3 examples. The first one is time, work setting, and social setting. The characteristic in the target that is being observed can affect what is perceived. Physical appearance play a big role in our perception of others. Next is the characteristic of the situation. For example, is novelty, motion, sound, size, background, and similarity. The situation in which the interaction between like perceiver and the target take place has an influence on the perceiver impression of the target. Making judgment about others. Kelly attribution theory. Okay, the first one is distinctiveness, which is show different behavior in different situations. And then is consensus, which is respond in the same as others to some situation. And lastly is consistency, which is respond in the same way over time. Okay, now is errors and bias in attribution, which is fundamental attribution errors. It is the tendency to underestimate the influence of external factors and overestimate the influence of internal factors when making judgment about the behavior of others. And then is self-serving bias, which is the tendency for individuals to attribute their own successes to internal factors while putting the blame
for failure is on the external factors. Frequently use shortcuts in judging others. The first one is selective perception, which is people selectively interpret what they see on the basis of their interests, background, experience, and attitudes. And then is halo effect, which is drawing a general impression about an individual on the basis of the single characteristic first impression view. Next is projection, which is attributing one's own characters to other people. And then is stereotyping, which is judging someone on the basis of one perception of the group to which that person belongs. And lastly is contrast effect, which is evaluation of a person's characteristics that are effected by comparison with other people recently encountered who rank higher or lower under some characteristics.